All right, guys. So we had to scratch that other one. So now we're doing this one. Okay. I got some other problems. Okay, guys. So I want to talk about something specific. I want to talk about, and I see different things. I belong to different private groups, secret groups, and whatnot. And because I got tired of the public groups, because the public, or some groups, because they would change their stuff over to public. So, anyways, I belong to some groups that are really serious about things and they keep it underground. So, there's things that come up with people wanting certain things. So, I'm going to tell a story about a woman named Kat. The woman named Kat did not recognize or want to admit to past lives. She was led by emotion strongly and was childlike in a way that she would throw tantrums with what she wanted. So she met a man. She wanted this guy to be bound to her, so she did binding spells, she did projection, she did whatever stuff from her home country, from her ancestors' home country, her grandparents. And she decided that she was going to bind this man that she met to her because she wanted fame, fortune, and whatnot. And he was a very strong-willed man, Mr. X. And they would have fights a lot. She would go back and forth between the home. And she got into where she's like, I'm going to go back to doing my spells and doing my magic and whatever and this and that and her wishful thinking. Okay? Well, then along comes Miss B. Miss B was sitting with one of her longtime friends and said, you know, I'm such an oddball. I don't think there could ever be anybody out there for me. Now, we've all felt that way at times, but then you have these really special people who are like oddballs. You have somebody who is creative, who beats to their own drum in a very dramatic, eclectic way. You have, a person who is into something that not many people are. So it limits their pool. Plus, they're an old soul. And old souls have a difficult time or a challenging time finding their significant other. Well, as this Miss B was telling her friend that, she looks up and she goes, oh my God. Now, this woman was in love with this man too. And she's like, oh my God, why did I not think of this? I have the perfect person for you, Miss B, the perfect man. You have got to go meet him. Here he is. I'm going to text him and let him know that you're coming to meet him and that you two should maybe start up a relationship because you guys are perfect for each other. So this woman who's kind of introverted and insecure because just of the things that she's been through says, okay, I'll go do this. Nervous as heck, but goes ahead and does it. And she does her thing. Well, then some really weird stuff starts to happen in this Miss B's life. She has all these terrible things happen to her, and her life, it's like somebody's trying to push her underwater and hold her head in. Seriously, really horrific things happen to this young 36, 37-year-old Miss B. And it goes on for years. And then one day Miss B runs into a stranger in the store, and she says, girl, do you know somebody's been putting a hex on you? Do you know someone's been cursing you? And she's like, I felt that way, but I was so cluttered with all this chaos around me, I couldn't think. They're like, the good old chaos magics. So, what happens? So now this woman for 10 years who was torn apart from her son, her children, her family, says, oh my God, you have got to be joking. So she digs deep. At this point, she's not really sure what's going on. She can't believe it. She thinks it might be some people from her past, because there was a person from her past who was hexing. So, anyways, this woman, Miss B, got very clever, working in the arts, because this other woman who was trying to manipulate her, trying to ruin her life, trying to get her out of her life by any means necessary, mess with her children, mess with her family. And don't piss off a mama, especially if she's a single parent. Same thing if it's a dad. And then a Scorpio on top of that, or a Taurus, or an Aries. And if it's a Gemini, I think you might have some Hannibal Lecter shit going on. But nevertheless, so this woman goes and does her mojo. She hems this bitch up. The moral of the story is, be careful what you do to others. Make sure you have your shadow work done. Make sure you have who you are correct. Okay? Make sure if you know you have histrionic personality disorder or symptoms of it, and you're out just grabbing everybody and everything you can, or you want to be famous, you want to be rich, so you decide that you're going to latch onto a man that's meant for his true love. And it goes the same way, male or female, man or woman. But you latch onto this person that really doesn't belong to you in this life. And you drag them down with you, and that person doesn't ever have true happiness, or that person is under a spell because you blinded him and you put his world in this weird sense. That shit come back to bite you. That shit come back to bite you. Especially if you're with the guy and then you have children with him, and now you got to go through that, and now you tear up his whole life. Not only that, but you might actually lose your children in it. So be careful what you do. Make sure that if you are after somebody, that if you're really truly in love with somebody and it is a twin flame, you are not going to have to do spell work to get that man to come back to you. And sometimes people are so upset because, let me tell you something, when women have sex with a man, their chemistry changes in their body so that they're linked to that man. Let me say that again. When women have sex with a man, their chemistry changes and they are attached to that man. Okay? Exactly. So make sure that if you're wanting to do a spell because you want a lover to come back, stop and think. Do I need this person in my life? Number one. Number two, was there interference from another woman? And you can find that out easily. Go and get a reading. I always recommend 2 readings from different places, different people. And not only that, if you know how to divine yourself, you could try to see. But you also could do a prayer or spell work, or just a simple prayer. I put it out there. I'd be like, Archangel Michael, angel, spirit guides, ancestors, show me. Tell me. Send me something that tells me what my intuition is telling me. But that doesn't mean you go after the person. No. You just go out and you say, I want to break that person's spell. I want to do an uncrossing. And I know, and people get mad, but I pick up stuff from other people. I seen a spell that I really love, a prayer that's in Hoodoo. It's on Hoodoo Delish, I think it's called, Hoodoo Delish, where this woman does an uncrossing with a candle so that somebody can see what the real truth is. Yes, because they've had somebody put a spell on them so they can't see. Because let me tell you, you put a spell on somebody, then you send chaos all around their life, and you put blindfolders on them and do all this stuff, or ear muffs so they can't hear, or keep them busy with something else. Yeah, that's just not even morally right. So if you're thinking about doing that in your mind to bind up a person to you, which I know I'm using the wrong word, but if you want to tie somebody to you so that they only have love for you, you might want to think about that. You might want to think about that, because think about your reasons why you're doing it. Is it because you're afraid you're going to be alone the rest of your life? Is it because you just want that fame and fortune because you know this other person's got it going on, and you don't care if the other person could be with that person and they both could be kicking it and having great things happen? Let me tell you, don't mess with other people's life charts. Don't mess with single parents. Don't mess with Scorpios, Tauruses, Aries, or Gemini. I think Gemini got these dual personalities where it's like American Psycho. I really do. I'm sorry, Geminis, but I really do think so. I think you guys are like, you're thinking here, okay, you're like street smart. You're like, okay, that person did that. Let me see what I can do. So to correct this issue, just do an uncrossing with a candle. Put out your incense for protection. Some people go as far as to hide who they are, what their face looks like, and put on black. Black soaks up negative energy. And when people are working in the light, you will see a lot of people wearing that. Some people will wear a lot of white just to draw in angels because they want that peace all around them. So, and we go through phases back and forth in our life, and you'll see people when they wear black and then they wear white, and that's why. That's what's happening. Excuse me, guys. I got a drink. Not only that, but let me explain something to you. When you do a spell, and because whatever reason, it don't matter. If you do a spell, it may not be just. It may not be. And the universe will say, let it go. Because in the future, it will help this person so that in 10 years from now or 20 years from now, when this happens, they'll be like, oh, hell no, I know this. Sometimes we go through stuff because it's the other person's lesson. But when somebody, I keep saying you, but when somebody does something that causes chaos in a person's life, can get them thrown in jail, can get them, financially unstable, can make them homeless, can make them sick physically, can make them ill. Okay, we got a problem, Houston. Because guess what? You are like the tree. The tree doesn't grow one fruit. Depending upon how much energy you put into that is what you are going to reap. So think long and hard. So if you're crying and whining or kicking and spitting and punching and laying on the floor and crying and, running out your house, I'm just going to leave if I don't get my way. Screw you. You can do this, you can do that, and I'll do this and I'll do that to get back at you and blah, blah, blah. Or push them out the window. No. Or say, I'm just going to lock the door so I can't let you back in. I'm going to start shit and be a narcissist. That ain't going to work because that stuff comes back to you. Comes back. Remember that. It comes back. Karma, I have a saying, karma is a beast when she comes. She is a beast. And on another note, Monday is the full moon. Today is Saturday. So Saturday and Sunday, and Monday it's at 10:52, I think it is, for when the moon actually, boom, it's there on the eastern coast. So Saturday and Sunday is time. Things will be manifesting. So now's the time to do it, okay? But seriously, if you want to see how to do it on crossing because somebody has been lied to and someone's manipulating another, making them their puppet, Miss Avie on Hoodoo. Delish. And I have to say that because I used some cut and clears from her and it worked marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. So, with people who'd been hexing me. So, but anyways, on that note, be careful what you do. Karma's a beast. When you're emotional and acting like a child, you better slow the hell down and put those brakes on. Because believe me, you guys have no idea some of the stuff that I've been through. And I'll be like, Arr! I'll be like so mad. I'll be like, oh my God, oh my God. And then it's like, let me go somewhere and sit for a minute. And I have to sit for a while and just sit there and say, okay, how am I going to fix this? Because I've got this anger going. And you can also shout out the moon, the full moon. You can do your healing by going out barefoot, ground yourself on the ground with the ground and with the sky. I always do with Father Sky, even though his presence is still there. And I also do with the moon. You can do man in the moon. You can do moon goddess, whatever you want to do, or just the energy of the moon. Ground yourself and scream that person's name out as loud as you can and make sure you are grounded, because when I did this for these people who were hexing me, I felt like chunks of energy just hit that ground. I mean, and it was like the earth was slowly absorbing it. They were like, oh, what do we got here? Oh, what is this? Oh, we see now. Oh, it's kind of like telling on them. And in the Bible, it does state that, God does send his messages through the stars and the moon and whatnot. I believe Native Americans believe in this. They watch it. We all run in cycles. But anyways, I'm at 14 minutes. You guys have a great day, okay?